the keys are to the glory days at the stick. From who's got it better than us to brick by brick. It's always the 49ers way, from off-season to game day. Yeah, we talk back. It's the 49ers Cutback.
It's 49ers Cutback Podcast time, and we have a position battle that is going to be a triple threat, so it's only right that there's three of us for this triple threat matchup.
It's true. Guys. No, this is going to be a super, super duper ridiculously exciting one. I mean, this is one that, right, there's so many implications because there's so many different ways that this could happen, this could go down. So right now, get excited, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed already, hit that notification bell. That way you're here for all of the position battles that we're going to talk about and cover. But this one specifically, guys, because this is the back end of that. Not the back end, but those guys right behind our core starting five. There's so many options here with McKivitz, with Jaylon Moore, right? With Shon Coleman. Shon Coleman's been in the system a little bit longer than a guy like Jaylon Moore. Maybe he's got an edge up. Colton McKivitz, a guy that they really, really, truly believe in and that they've invested in and believe this guy could be potentially a tackle of the future for this team. Where's everyone kind of lining up on this? And how do you feel this is playing out? Who has the edge up in the swing tackle position, for example?
Yeah, I think that's where it starts first, is a swing tackle. Is who's it going to be? Conventional wisdom is that actually this would be Shon Coleman because that's what he was doing beforehand, before he opted out. So that would be conventional wisdom. I'm going to throw conventional wisdom out the window because I'm going with Colton McKivitz. They drafted him as a fifth round pick, but they had a higher grade on him. Somebody that they actually thought could play left tackle if Trent Williams wouldn't have been traded for. That makes me think that Colton McKivitz has the leg up. But this is a tough battle because you have Shon Coleman that has that experience, and he's a good player. He's a good veteran player that could easily slide in there. So when you're looking at those two guys, they're there. And then you add in the added aspect of another fifth-round pick in Jaylon Moore, who has the ability, the athleticism to push anyone on any part of this roster. It just makes for a lot of good questions. I think right now I would say McKivitz is the leader in the clubhouse, but I could definitely be swayed on this. That's how close I think it is.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you there. This is such an important position. This is almost like the backup quarterback. You're one wrong step away from having to play this guy at probably the second most important position on the field and on offense. And Shon Coleman, like you said, has played a lot of football in the NFL. He's been a very solid player. McKivitz is a guy they love. He got some experience last year. He played okay. And Jaylon Moore is kind of he's an unknown commodity. I know they're high on him. He's got a lot of physical tools. But Jaylon Moore, it'd be pretty surprising to see him win the swing tackle job because of his inexperience. It's his first year in their system, and it's such an important position. Like you said, I think it comes down to Coleman and McKivitz. And first of all, if Coleman does not win this battle, he's probably released. Because if he's not at his salary and years in the league, if he's not the main backup at tackle, there's kind of no need to have him on the team if they decide McKivitz or Moore is better. But I'm going to have to go ahead and agree with you is that I think Colton McKivitz right now, because they're really big on him. Unless they're lying to up his trade value, the way they talk about him is really big. They seem like they really like him. He played pretty well when he played last year, but he played mostly guard. But I think he's a guy they're really high on.
No, I agree with you there. I think Colton McKivitz has the edge up over both of these guys that we're talking about right now. And like you said, Jaylon Moore, kind of the unproven, unknown commodity. You don't really know what he's going to be, right? With this idea and shift that the Niners may be moving to a more vertical run sort of game, downhill more, maybe they're thinking Moore is going to add more to the vertical aspect of the run game, right? And that he'd be better suited as a guard. And that brings up a whole host of other questions, right? Because if Jaylon Moore is being viewed as more of a potential guard prospect for the 49ers, then is there a possibility that you could have both McKivitz and Coleman making the roster, but with McKivitz being the guy for this line group?
I think Moore was going to be kind of slotted into that guard spot behind Laken Tomlinson. I think the only reason he's thrown into this topic of conversation now is because Justin Skule got hurt. I think Skule got hurt, kind of opened the door. I think it's a battle for the swing tackle, and then I think Horst is right. One of those guys is going to be gone, and that could be Coleman, because Coleman's the money he makes it's legitimate. He's a veteran guy that makes that veteran minimum. If he's not on the team, then you have a little bit more money to play with. Colton McKivitz cheaper, Jaylon Moore cheaper. So it might make sense for them where they have money on the front end on the starting guys to have less money on the back end. That's why when we're going to talk about these other positions too, that it makes sense. So I think Moore has to be considered just because he's a freak athlete. And anytime you have that guy, you have to think he can play any position. And I think they're going to give him a fair shake because they do want the best players on the team. But Colton McKivitz's skill set and the way that he plays definitely makes me think this is the guy that's going to ultimately make this roster as a swing tackle. The other thing that could throw this whole thing into a loop is this could become a fatal four-way if Banks beats out Daniel Brunskill. And if that happens and Brunskill's thrown into the swing tackle mold, it could have a leg up on everyone because that's how talented he is. So he could throw a wrench into things if that was to happen. So that's another conversation to have because Brunskill also a guy that can play every single position on this line.
And by the way, if that does happen, I'm changing my vote to Brunskill.
I think I would as well. Honestly, I think that would be Shon Coleman's worst nightmare, right?
Yeah.
Banks winning that starting job because there's almost no way.
Coleman would be gone.
He's gone, right? Because he's not.
Right.
There's no way he's beating. I don't think he's going to beat out McKivitz, but even if he doesn't if he does beat out McKivitz, if you got a guy like Brunskill who's now your swing tackle, right, and McKivitz can be your utility guy there, they can do more things because I don't think Coleman can make the transition inside. He's not as much of a utility guy.
He's
so
not.
You have
No,
McKivitz,
he's a tackle.
Right. So you have McKivitz who can play both, right? Brunskill can play every single position. And you have a guy like Jaylon Moore who can potentially do both inside and outside. Shon Coleman becomes entirely expendable.
And there's no guarantee that Dakota Shepley doesn't just come in and destroy all these guys and just dominate. Dakota Shepley is a very talented player that doesn't get any talk at all, but he could come in there and raise a little bit of hell and cause some problems for these guys because he's physical at the point of attack and he's a very good run blocker. If the pass game is there, he's going to cause some issues. I would love to see what this guy can do anywhere on this offensive line, but you're right. The flexibility for the guys like Jaylon Moore, Colton McKivitz, and Daniel Brunskill is what you want in an offensive line. That's why anyone that is a straight pigeonhole guy to one position, you would rather move them on because that way you have the flexibility in case there's multiple injuries at any spot in the line. That was what was so nice about Bob McKittrick's lines. If you lost a Randy Cross, you lost a Jesse Zappolo, you had somebody else to go in there and you were able to play. The centers and guards were so flexible and interchangeable in those offenses. That's what you're looking for here.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that's what makes Shon Coleman. That's why I made that comment about him being gone if he's not the swing tackle, is because he can't do much else. So what are we gonna have? A swing tackle? I mean,
yeah, that makes total sense.
Not to mention Jaylon Moore can come play some power forward for you.
That's very true.
It's true.
I actually did find some highlights of his high school days. Yeah, he looks nice.
I have not seen those highlights.
If he can translate the footwork on the court to just everything within his own blocking scheme that you need to do in the lateral movement and things of that nature and getting up to second level, if that translates at all, this dude is an underappreciated athlete.
He has to be because he's also translated not just from basketball to football, but from D-line to offensive line. So he's still in the development process. To go in the 5th round being that much of a developmental talent is nice. And this guy could develop into something great. And that's why I think some people are looking into the future and they see that this guy could possibly be a replacement for Laken Tomlinson. Mm-hmm. He has work to do, but like we've talked about, if they struck gold with these two guards in this draft that could stabilize this offensive line for the duration at least of Trent Williams being in San Francisco, that is scary for everyone else. This offensive line is going to be tough to deal with. The interior run game, the outside zone is going to be very, very good for the 49ers, and an improved passing game because the pocket's going to be better so our quarterback can actually step up and make throws down the field.
Yeah, and we get our quarterback for the whole season. That'd be great.
It's
wonderful.
Really great if he's not getting nicked up with ankle stuff.
We did forget one threat.
What's that?
The Pasta Man.
Oh, we didn't talk about the Pasta Man.
We didn't talk about the Pasta Man, Alfredo Gutierrez. I'm sorry. Unfortunately, we are out of time. You're getting the Josh Rosen treatment today. Look, let us know what you think about this position battle down below in the comments section right now. Did we miss a name? Should we be talking about the Pasta Man? Senio Calamete is a guard, but could he actually be a tackle? Who knows? You let us know what you think. Is it one of these three guys at the swing tackle spot? Is it someone that we're not even thinking about? We want to hear from you. And while you're down there commenting away, commenting to your heart's content, make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell as well. Like the video, share it with the rest of the faithful, and cop yourself some sweet Cutback merch.
Yeah, do it. And also, put some Parmesan cheese on the Pasta Man's name. Let's give him some respect. No, I don't think anyone seriously thinks he's going to make the roster this year. But the one thing I will say is at least he has an opportunity. He's big, he's physical, so he's got that going for him. So it should be fun to watch. I'm excited about this offensive line, though, because I think they're very talented and very deep. Which 9 guys are going to make this roster? Who knows? This is going to be a extreme battle, especially between these 3. I'm curious what everyone else thinks. I'm sure we're going to get some nice comments about who people think is the leader in the clubhouse, not only for swing tackle, but to make this roster, fill out this roster. Do they believe it's going to be more flexible like we believe? Or is it better to have somebody that's a solid position guy like Shon Coleman? I've seen some people that on Twitter that believe that it's Coleman and no one else can beat him out. Are they right? I don't know, but I'd like to have this conversation with people.
Yeah, it's going to be it's a great battle. Let us know what you think.
100%. Really exciting times. A lot of position battles to talk about. So much more to discuss. This 49ers roster is deep. This is just one of many positions that is deep. And I'll tell you what, I'm really looking forward to watching all of these battles unfold at training camp.
Yes, training camp can't get here quick enough. Once it gets here, we get to talk about real football, real competition, things that are going to be fun to watch. But you have to know which battles to watch. That's what we're trying to give you the heads up, give you the ins and outs of what you can expect from training camp. That way when you get there, you know what you're looking for and what you're watching. Plus, it's just a fun conversation to have because figuring out how this roster is going to be constituted and built is part of the excitement.
Just remember who gave you the Iggy.
Right here. 49ers Cutback, where you get all your great content. You get all the heads up that you need. Cutback crew, we love you. 49ers fans, until next time, you stay safe.
And remember the right way.
It's always the 49ers way.